Okay, I think this might be the last session on shading. Yeah, I think this might be the last session on shading. Starting to get more and more details and matching the tone to the reference photo, but remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's your artistic interpretation of what you see. So difficult thing is going to be this hand. I'm not good at hands. I don't draw a lot of hands, so I've never really practiced at it. But I want to take my time and get it right, because remember, you can get the rest of the drawing dead on or whatnot as you want it, and if you don't get one part right, the rest of the drawing suffers. I read or heard it said that a drawing is only as strong as its weakest point, so if the hand sucks, it's going to distract your eye from what might be good to what may not be so good. So you don't want to spend all your time getting everything just perfect everywhere else and then rush through an ear or something. That's usually what I end up doing with an ear, because I hate ears because they're so small and you have to shade in the direction of the lobes and everything, and it's kind of tough with as small scale as I draw. This is only 5.59 by 6.5, so roughly 6 by, let's see, yeah, about 5.5 by 6, 5.6 by 6 inches for those not on the metric system. I'm blending more and more on this joining line. Now I'm using my 2B here because I'm going from something really dark to much lighter. So it helps blend the darker graphite into the lighter graphite. Let's see, I'm going to take my kneaded eraser now, and one thing I do is just kind of take a pinpoint, start blotching up little areas, because it makes the skin more realistic and lifelike. I'm just wiping some of this back off because it's a little too dark. That's what I said before, it's better to put more down and take it off than it is to have to keep redoing. So, plus this helps blend it as well. There's a really nice shine on his nose that I kind of shaded into, so I got to pull some of that back out. There's two ways to make something, well, I should say, there's two ways to make something lighter. Well, the best way is to make what's around it darker. So, because you only get as light as the paper, so to make it stand out, make it lighter, in other words, just make what's around it darker. It's starting to come together. I'd say this is roughly 4 hours, maybe 4 hours worth of work. Maybe a couple more to go. Can't decide. Yeah, I'll end up doing different tutorials, like on lips with next drawings or something like that. Maybe I'll choose my next subject based on good lips. I'm doing hair, and something with really good eyes. The lips got a lot of work yet to do, so that's a whole nother thing, and it's just, I could spend an hour on these lips. Who knows, maybe more. Just gonna kind of draw here and shut up. Kinda got a 2B pencil in my hand. I don't always listen to music. Sometimes I do. When I draw, usually it's just my quiet time. Collect my thoughts, get my thoughts together, think about deep subjects. The meaning of life. It's cold here in Chicago, wherever you guys are from. It's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Time to start closing this in. It's a little on this finger, thank God, disappears more, so I only have to draw one. I gotta add all the little lines, and you can get as crazy as you want with all the little wrinkles and lines. It's gonna just how much time you want to put into it. Like I said before, maybe you got cut off on one of my clips, but you know, I personally think, you know, drawing has taught me patience, at least more than I had before. And the more time I spend on a drawing, the more patience I develop. And I believe it's patience that will ultimately allow me to reach my potential, because I get bored on the same drawing after a while. Kind of touching up some of these black areas. Man, the way he's got like all these little crisscross wrinkles in here. I don't know if I want to get into that, at least yet. A sweater. You know, I don't want to draw every little fiber. There's two things. You can either draw the details, or you can create what I call the illusion of detail. That's where you fool your brain into thinking what it sees is what it is. Sometimes it's better, it's more realistic, because if you don't actually draw the detail itself, but you somehow translate in your drawing to the brain that it receives signals thinking what it's seeing is real. Like some of the blurred out backgrounds in some of the drawings you see. I'm going to go over this again, but I picked up on that. And that's a tough technique, to do a blurry background. But when it's blurred out, it kind of tells sends signals to your brain. Like there's a whole chapter in that book called Fooling the Brain. Drawing from Line to Life. I need to reread that. But when I was reading, when I was first into drawing, I could not get enough. I absorbed everything like a sponge because I was so interested in it, so it wasn't really learning, it was like fun. It's like the saying, it's only a job if you'd rather be doing something else. How true is that? I would love to figure out a way to make a living with drawing. And like I said, I never went to school for it, so I don't have a teaching degree, an art degree, or anything like that. The teaching classes that they created or let me create for the public were for the public because otherwise you have to have a master's degree, and I don't, obviously. I'm pulling out some graphite here and there. Various spots. Hope these things aren't too boring for you guys. Dun-dun-dun. Now here's a good application for this thing. This Tough Stuff stick eraser. Again, I cut a beveled knife edge on one side, and I notice there's a nice strong shadow, or highlight right in here. So this is great for highlighting lips. It's bits of hair or another set of wrinkles. You know, if you wanted to make some kind of lines in here, like he's got some crisscross looking stuff in there. Again, I'm not actually drawing it, but I want to create the illusion that it's there. Yeah, it's working pretty nice. I don't know if you could see that. So white lines, we're going to have to get this darker on this side, and you know, the hand's another story. I'll get to that later. I think we're running up on time here. Got a timer this time. I ain't gonna go over 15 minutes. I spent a couple hours today trying to convert the one that went over 15 minutes into a AVI file, and then having found a splitter, and then I had to get the right codecs to play it, and then, you know, ended up doing it as a, I think a FMP4 file or something. Okay, 13 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to give it some stubble. What I'll use for stubble, maybe, is like an H, really sharp H in some areas, and then maybe an F or an HB in other areas, because he's going to have some around his lip and everything else here. Okay, coming up. Almost time. I'm going to go back over and get this better. Remember before, I didn't define the actual lip lines, I just really darkened this